Siddhartha Gautama, a prince also known as the Buddha, was born in Shakya, Kshatriya, destined to leave an indelible mark on the spiritual canvas of the world. His journey from a sheltered prince to an enlightened teacher began in the ancient city of Sarnath, where he delivered his first sermon, setting in motion the Wheel of Dharma. Now, coming back to our story, Siddhartha Gautama, a prince who lived a life of luxury. Sheltered from suffering, he knew only pleasure. Yet, destiny had a different plan. One day he ventured beyond the palace walls. He saw an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. These sights of suffering shook him to his core. He realized the impermanence of life, its fragility. That night, he left his palace, his wife, and his newborn son. He became a wandering ascetic, seeking truth and liberation from suffering. The Buddha's teachings offer a path to liberation from suffering. This path, known as the Dharma, begins with understanding the Four Noble Truths. First, suffering exists. Life inevitably involves pain, loss, and dissatisfaction. Second, suffering arises from attachment and aversion. We crave what we don't have and resist what is. Third, suffering can cease. By uprooting attachment and aversion, we find peace. Fourth, there is a path to end suffering. This is the Eightfold Path. After his enlightenment, the Buddha traveled to Deer Park in Sarnath. There, he delivered his first sermon to 5 ascetics. He shared the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. This marked the beginning of Buddhism as a distinct tradition. The 5 ascetics became his first disciples, forming the Sangha. The Buddha's teachings spread rapidly, attracting people from all walks of life. The Sangha, the community of Buddhist monks and nuns, played a vital role. They dedicated their lives to practicing and preserving the Buddha's teachings. They wandered from village to village, sharing the Dharma. They lived simply, relying on alms for sustenance. Their presence provided guidance and inspiration to lay followers. Section 5. Councils and Canons, shaping the Buddhist path. After the Buddha's passing, his followers sought to preserve his teachings. They gathered in councils to recite and codify the Dharma. The first Buddhist council was held shortly after the Buddha's death. These texts were compiled and codified in a series of councils, the first of which took place in Rajagriha under the patronage of King Ajatasattu for compiling teachings of Sutta and Vinayak Pitaka. The second council in Magadha under Kalasoka addressed the difference created among Buddhists due to strict living codes, while the third in Patliputra, under the guidance of Moggaliputta, published the Abhidhamma Pitaka, elucidating the earlier 2 teachings. The fourth council in Kashmir, convened by Emperor Kanishka, witnessed the division took place in this council. Section 6. Ashoka the Great, a pivotal patron. Emperor Ashoka, a powerful ruler of India, embraced Buddhism. He was deeply moved by the Buddha's teachings of peace and compassion. He renounced violence and dedicated himself to spreading the Dharma. He erected pillars and stupas throughout his empire, inscribed with Buddhist teachings. Section 7. The spread of Buddhism. It was driven by a variety of factors. The complexity and expense of Vedic rituals made the simplicity of Buddhism appealing. The Pali language, in which the Buddha's teachings were recorded, resonated with the common folk, unlike the scholarly Sanskrit. Influential monarchs like Prasenjit, Bimbisara, Ajatasattu, Ashoka, Kanishka, and Harshavardhan, along with the monastic communities in Magadha and Maurya, played pivotal roles in fostering Buddhism. The establishment of renowned universities such as Nalanda, Puspagiri, Vikramasila, Ratnagiri, Odantapuri, and Somapuri became centers of Buddhist learning and discourse. That's why from India to the world. From its origins in India, Buddhism spread along trade routes and through missionary efforts. It reached Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia, Central Asia, China, Korea, and Japan. As it encountered different cultures, Buddhism adapted and evolved. Different schools of thought emerged, each with its unique interpretations and practices. Section 8. Symbols of Awakening, Understanding Buddhist Iconography. Buddhist art is rich in symbolism, representing key teachings and principles. The white elephant represents the Buddha's conception. while the stupa symbolizes his mahaparinirvana, or death. The Bodhi tree stands as a testament to his enlightenment, and the wheel signifies his first sermon, the turning of the Dharma chakra. The horse represents Mahabhinishkarmana, great renunciation, and the lotus flower emerging from muddy waters symbolizes purity, enlightenment, and his caste, the Shakyas. Section 9. The decline of Buddhism in India. Despite its widespread popularity, Buddhism gradually declined in India. The reasons for this decline are complex and multifaceted. The rise of Hinduism, with its emphasis on devotional practices, posed a challenge to Buddhism. Buddhist monks gradually abandoned the Pali language, distancing themselves from the lay people. The rise of the Rajputs, who eschewed the Buddhist principle of non-violence, and the dwindling support from royal patrons like Ashoka over that there was Muslim invasion, further contributed to Buddhism's decline. The internal divisions within Buddhism, leading to a loss of its original essence, also played a part. Section 10. The enduring legacy of the Buddha. The Buddha's teachings offer timeless wisdom for navigating the challenges of life. His message of no killing, no theft, no sexual misconduct, no intoxication, and no falsehood resonates deeply in today's world. Also, these principles were championed by eminent scholars like Asvaghosha, Nagarjuna, Dharmakirti, Buddhaghosha, and Moggalaputta, who contributed significantly to the philosophical underpinnings of Buddhism. His emphasis on mindfulness and meditation has found renewed relevance in our fast-paced, technology-driven society. That's all for today. If you found this overview helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insight of complex issue around the world. See you next time.